Well, to a different celebrity who isn't afraid of political correctness. JK Rowling has slammed a university for labelling lesbians non-men. John Hopkins' LGBTQ guide says non-binary people need to be included in the definition of a lesbian, so called them a non-man attracted to non-men. Sorry. Rowling hit back, saying the glossary didn't require a definition of a man when referencing gay men, and was critical that women were only referenced in relation to men. The university has since removed the guide and says it wasn't properly reviewed or approved by leadership. Earlier this month, JK Rowling was at the centre of a row with Oxfam. The charity was forced to apologise and delete part of its Pride Month advert as it appeared to depict the author as demonic and anti-trans. Well, I mean, this is one of the most sinister areas of this kind of wokery. I've got to come up with another word and I'll use it. But it is the
PC gone mad.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I hate political correctness. I really hate political correctness gone mad. This is political correctness gone mad. But seriously, this is the eradication of the word woman. You know, we see it going on everywhere. The NHS doing whole pamphlets on pregnancy and the menopause without using the word woman. It's calling women, you know, people with cervixes, people who menstruate. And here we have a really egregious example of it. Non-men. What is a non-man? It's a woman.
But I still don't understand. I'm just going over your script. So it's John Hopkins' guide said non-binary people need to be included in the definition of a lesbian, so called them a non-man attracted to non-men.
Well, that's a woman attracted to a woman.
Which is a lesbian. It's really very simple, this. I don't know why we've complicated everything to this ridiculous extent.
It's ridiculous.
And the thing is, I think people have now... I mean, they're just treading on eggshells the whole time. And actually, if we're just a little more honest about the whole thing, it would become much easier for people and people would be more tolerant. The more you dress this up with this ridiculous charade, the more it sort of entrenches, I suppose, feelings of people being weird.
But it's sexist, isn't it? It's sexist. A non-man is a woman. Use the word woman. What's wrong with the word woman?
The fact that they've then, to describe a gay man, they don't say a non-woman in love with a non-woman. Like, essentially, my fear is that women are being pushed out and eradicated, and if anyone dares to speak up about it, then you're a TERF or you're bigot, whatever, you're transphobe. But essentially, we are pushing women out of their own spaces with men who now say that they are women, which is...
and the whole point about this was that it was meant to be inclusive. We were meant to not exclude anyone. You know, it was meant to be being nice to everybody, which, you know, as you all know, is what I like to see. But sometimes being nice to, you know, only specific groups means actually being quite nasty to a large group of people.
Exactly right.
I mean, and I want to... join in there. It's PC gone mad. Where will it all end?
Well, I think the pendulum's going to swing back the other way. We went extreme to the left on certain words and topics, and now we're starting to see common sense prevail a little bit, and I think we're going to go back the other way. There was a survey not long ago where they said Gen Z are becoming less tolerant about these things than millennials.
They're just going to start using really blunt language because it's the easiest way to explain what they're talking about.
But then, of course, we'll end up where the trans community will be pilloried and excluded, and so everything will have...
Well, I think JJ's just hit the nail on the head. It's about common sense, isn't it? You know, saying a lesbian is a non-man attracted to a non-man, there's no common sense in that statement. And that's maybe where the pendulum will swing back to, a certain sensibleness that we seem to have lost.
But I wonder if you're a minority group, you have to shout louder and louder to be heard. And so, particularly with the gay men, gay women, they had to shout very loudly until they were heard and accepted. And now I think it's so accepted that actually now it's the turn of trans people, non-binary people. So I agree with you, actually. I think it will all swing back. And this is protest at the moment, and it will become more inclusive, I hope.
Is it a case of, though, and this is how I feel, because I've got trans friends, and we don't talk about this stuff hardly ever. I feel like it's friends of people who are trans who are speaking on their behalf and saying, they're going to be offended by this, you're all in the wrong. And it's like, I don't think actually there is a huge clamour for it from the trans community.
Anyway.
And one more thing.